Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Heal the Unicorn podcast. Today we have a great topic, right? We got unicorns on for everyone today, playing around with Zoom filters, getting in the mood before we hop on here. So we're fully energized for you all. So today, the topic that we have is our attachment to stuff. And I mean, this is a big topic because we are living in this world society that has a lot of attachment to things. And it reminds me of this teacher, Jeffrey, I can't remember his last name, where he teaches about materialistic mind and spiritual mind. And most people are living with materialistic mind. We do have both, but usually one is bigger than the other. So, as we were gearing up for this conversation and just having chat, trying to figure out what we're going to talk about, Meagan was sharing a little story about her experience. Do you want to repeat it again?
Which one?
You just finished talking about, get rid of one thing and then.
Yes. So I was speaking about my family and how their need of wanting to keep every possession that they have, thinking that they may need it in the future, but it's not getting used at the moment. So we had an instance happen here in our house where we got rid of something, and a month later, it came about that we needed that specific thing, and people in my family were like, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have gotten rid of this. Why did I get rid of this? And thankfully, out of nowhere, someone actually gave us that particular item that we needed. So sometimes it's really good to let go of things in order to gain stuff back as well. Because when we hoard on to stuff, we're never going to receive anything because we have such an attachment to things, and we constantly want to possess these things, and that's where kind of, like Bethany said, the ego comes out, right? It is mine. No, these things are here to come into your life to have a purpose. Every item has a purpose. A book has a purpose. A lamp has a purpose. And it's there to help you. And sometimes you have to re-gift that purpose to somebody else and give that gift to others.
Yeah. And when we also hold on to things, not wanting to let go of them, it creates, it blocks the abundance. It creates a feeling of lack because we think that if we get rid of this thing, we'll never get it back again, which is scarcity mindset. And as you were describing, getting rid of things, and a lot of us, we have attachment to things, right? I was picturing, like, think of it this way. Our mind is only able to focus on so many things on any given day, right? And when we have a lot of possessions, just visualize this for a second. For every single thing you have, let's say you have 5 pens, you have pictures, you have mugs, you have pencils, you have phones, you have cards, you have books, you have a lot of things in the house, blankets, every single thing that you possess, every single thing that you have. Now just visualize each and everything that you have attached by a string to your mind. You have strings. You are not consciously aware of your connection to each and every item you have. But you have these strings that are attached to every single item that you have in your house. Even those items that you have put in a box nicely away for, best example, I know I had that I get rid of it, but the clothes that I will fit into later or one day. Okay. I'm sure most of us women and men as well can relate to that. The clothes that I will wear, or I have a bunch of earrings. One day I might go to a fancy party and I'll wear these earrings or these ones. And I kid you not, I have over 50 pairs of earrings. And I wear two, maybe three of them. Right. So for me, the string thing that it really just came up for me as I was listening to you. I felt these strings being pulled towards this corner where I have my rings and my earrings. I'm like, this shit has to go. Like, keep a minimalist kind of a lifestyle, living um, in a way where you only have the necessities. Mm-hmm. Now, who on earth? I mean, I know I would imagine who, but I'll just finish my question. Who on earth would wear a 50 or 100 different earrings in a year, even, right? Some of them I have never actually worn. Actually, some of them, most of them, I have never actually worn, which means, that I don't know if you ladies have heard this phrase, if you haven't touched it or thought of it in the last 6 months, then discard it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right? I did that approach with kitchen utensils where we went through the kitchen utensils and there's some stuff I'm like, oh, I didn't even know we had this. So I put a bunch of stuff in the bag. And I said to my husband, I'm putting this away in the garage by the time, because I was collecting things to donate, right? So I'm going to put this away. And if anything that we need to use from this bag, we go in there and use it, then we get to keep it. Out of 20 things that I put in there, one got brought back. And I can't even tell you what else was in the bag because I can't remember. It was 3 months ago and I can't remember what was in that bag. But all I do remember is at the moment that I even put it in the bag and put it away, knowing that it was already pretty much gone because it was in the garage with all the other bags ready for donation. And I already felt lighter. I already felt better. My kitchen drawers are not as cluttered anymore. And I don't like clutter because I already have a difficult time focusing. Exactly, right? It makes me feel crazy and like spinny. And this is where this whole string thing came to mind, where we can only focus on so many things on any given day. And when subconsciously I am still remembering and doing the check of I have this, I have that, I have this, because every single thing requires our energy. And that's why the string is there, because our energy is attached to each and every item. And we're sending energy to it without knowing what we're actually sending energy to. Now, attach people to our life and our goals and our dreams and our plans. Attach all of that. How many strings do you ladies think you have attached to you right now?
Too many.
If you could give it a number, what would that number be?
180.
That's a small number. Good job.
Thank you.
For me, I don't know. I guess I don't feel like there's some of those things like you were saying, like dreams and stuff. I don't find that as like something that you would like have a string attached, I guess, in my mindset. Because I find that kind of like makes me feel a little like ugh about it. But like I agree with your like the strings for materialistic things, but like for like all like the dreams and your goals, like for me, I just feel like that's not a place for a string to be attached, because it's like it's in your mind, and that's like who you are. I don't know if that makes sense.
The things as well that we have are in a way kind of like what we are.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I guess because we're talking about materialistic things and like having things attached to us.
Mhm.
And yes, like you have those dreams and goals and all that attached to you, but that's like the good attachments, I guess what I'm getting at. Like it's
Well,
like like not
mhm.
good, but it's the uplifting strings, those strings that keep you going in life and that keep you motivated and positive and inspired. And so I would never want to cut those strings ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking about cutting the strings at all.
Right.
Aware of them. And also, even those goals and dreams, quite often they are attached to a materialistic possession as well.
Mhm.
And the
I
reason
guess.
why
I guess I don't agree
I
with that. I'm
mentioned the
sorry.
goals and dreams is because
Can I say I agree with you, because when we have that attachment, it's like, oh, I need this amount of money to get to my goals. Oh, I need this to get to my dreams. And it's saying, no, I don't have that. Because I understand where you're coming from, Bethany, like having that string, but we have to have some type of anchor to our dreams, right? So because if
Right.
we don't have that, I mean, of course, we have good strings and we have bad strings,
Right.
but sometimes those strings are kind of like interconnected with
Yeah.
each other. So sometimes it's like we have to separate them. So it's like, oh, my goals and this money is mixed together. No. Okay, let me unwind them and put them on their own path.
Yeah. And I also wanted to mention the reason why I mentioned the goals and dreams and the string attached to it. And also the one thing I guess those are attached to is integrity.
Right.
Stuff. I don't know. I think I might have mentioned it to Bethany like a few years back when we started talking of something that I've learned about why we as human beings have a difficult time um, pushing through our limits, and it's because we have not been keeping integrity with ourselves. So when we say, oh, I want to do this, oh, I want to do that, oh, I want to do that, and this is just a thought, just an idea that we never actually follow through on, but that thought actually creates an attachment, which is in the way a goal or a dream or a task that we want to do without us actually doing anything, because we're saying to the universe, I want to do this. And it was just an idea. It just popped into your mind like this. Or when you promise to someone, I'll message you like once in a while type of a thing, right? And then you never actually do it. What happens is that this thing that you promised to do was never actually completed. So I remember going through this exercise where writing every single thing down, every single promise that was made, goal, dream, or promise or whatnot. And I stopped when I got to like 150 because I was like, oh my God, this is a lot. Because in order for us to really heal and move forward and release everything, we need to be aware of it first. And this is where the strings started coming in that like Bethany was saying, that you don't want to cut those strings. And it's not about cutting the strings, it's about being aware of our attachment, like Meagan was saying, that attachment to a specific thing that might be attached to something else and intertwine, and realizing that they don't need to be. And it comes back to one of the things that you both love the most, and me, it's clarity.
Yeah.
It's really becoming clear of, I do have these attachments, but that doesn't mean that they're bad. I have 100 earrings, 50, 100, I don't even know how many I have. I already got rid of a bunch. I don't necessarily look at them as a bad attachment.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, but most of the time, no. Like, I like them. They make me feel good. And this is what most people are, in a way, struggling with. I like them, they make me feel good, but I don't have a use for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally collecting dust.
Yeah. But again, I feel like that materialistic thing comes in, right? So we need stuff to make us feel happy or to make us feel joy, which things should not come with that type of feeling. Like, of course, yes, like I can wear a dress and be like, oh, I had a really great time in this dress and everything, but it wasn't that dress that did it. It was maybe how I felt in that moment, the experience that I was, going through. And I feel like even for my travels, if I were to bring every single thing that I owned, I wouldn't be traveling anywhere. But that was like yeah.
Oh no, you're fine. I interrupted you. I was just kind of going back to what I was saying, because what my mindset when I was saying all that stuff, I was thinking about how we were talking about decluttering and like the materialistic things, and so when we were talking about the strings, like I keep a list of all the stuff that it's like I have to have, I guess. And my list is very small because I have gone through a lot of growth, and I worked through a lot of like the ego, like materialistic type of hold on things. And I love decluttering. Like I will declutter like once a month. I'll go through stuff and be like, do I need this? No. Like what you did, because I notice it makes you lighter and brighter. But then that's where I guess I was kind of meaning, like, there's some things like I would never detach ever, because it's stuff that's like spiritually, I guess, more that I would keep. And then like those other strings, like the ego, materialistic, like I could do without, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, anyways, that's kind of like, I don't know if I'm making sense. My brain's kind of
I totally get that
today.
But I totally can understand though that even sometimes those strings need to be cut, because like even on a spiritual level or a dream level, sometimes our dreams change. Sometimes like the universe is like, actually that's not what you're here for right now. Or sometimes someone says something, a different belief or something. I'm like, oh, actually that resonates with me. That actually counter, and so like I think it's just all about constantly changing and being adapting to our surroundings and being okay with that, because I think change is the biggest problem we have, and like letting go of everything, not only letting go of our emotions but letting go of materialistic possessions that we have,
because we do have an attachment to it. Like Bethany, I know you pretty much once a month go through things and get rid of things, and you let me know I got rid of so many things, and I feel lighter and brighter and I feel great. And then this is where what happens, I don't know if you've noticed, is like with the story that Meagan was sharing in the beginning, somebody got rid of something and then they got the one that it back, and then they got it back. So when we all get rid of things, and Bethany, I know you've gotten rid of things, which opened up a door for other things to come into your life. With clothes especially, some of us do have an attachment to like specific piece of clothing. For me, it was a light blue pair of jeans that I wore when I met my husband. And he loved them because my butt looked great in them. It had no pockets, right? So I had those jeans, and I still have those jeans. But the thing is, now I don't need to try to fit in them anymore because I have given them to my daughter. And that is a different way of how I found a loophole in letting go of things without throwing them out or without giving them away, giving them to her. And if she wants to wear it, if she likes it, she can wear it. And I can enjoy watching a little me. And she's 11 years old. And when I wore them, I was 19 years old, those jeans. So I was the size of my daughter at 19. And thinking about like, I don't want to go back to that size. I'm a mother of 2 children. Well, technically 4 if we count losing the twins, which is 3 pregnancies. I've gone through 3 pregnancies. I've gone through depression, anxiety, panic attacks, a lot of grief, a lot of loss, gone through a lot of crap. And that changes your body from inside out. It's science. It's not just me making it up. It's scientifically our body changes when we are going through something or we're facing something. So another example is sometimes we might have, you know what, I'll do a little, I guess I'll do a little story. So with one of my clients, I had a conversation this week, and she shared something with me where she has been going to this professional who his skill is basically this. He looks at your muscles and your body and tells you which ones are not working. Okay, but that's not the best part. The best part is that then he does certain types of tests in the office. This all takes an hour, and tells you why they're not working. So one example was when she was sleeping, she got startled with something that caused one of her muscles to shut off.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, thinking about that for a little bit, when we experience anything in life, and it might not be something so severe, it might be you're driving by and a car drove by and just honked really loudly, one of your muscles shuts off, right? And the same thing can happen when we close, right? When we have clothes and when we look at clothes, we might not remember the experiences that we've gone through wearing this outfit, but we have certain feeling with it, right? And we can question ourselves and see where that attachment is and go deep. And, you know, this one particular item that is bringing a lot of things up for you, you can sit and meditate with it. Right? It will tell you many stories if you just want to listen.
Yeah.
So I want to go see that doctor.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
Be interesting to know, like, different things, like when, let's say, you get scared, what muscles like shut off? I don't know. Yeah, like what muscles should you work on, like getting back on track?
True, but I wonder if it's like it has to do with like your experiences, right? So again, like she said, let's say like a car honked, or for me, like if I see someone kind of like go like this, so my car accident comes in my mind, and then I feel like, you know, that's when my shoulder starts hurting and stuff. So I think like if we have that experience with something, that's what kind of triggers in us, like our last experience with it.
That the trauma you had, so then it like kind of reopens that trauma, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, that's where it hurt before. Yeah, that's interesting.
And we can also end up holding on to things because of trauma.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And I did want to like clarify on the whole like letting go of stuff, because I feel that people might think that, okay, if I get rid of a materialistic thing, materialistic things will come to me. And that's not how it works. A lot of things can be experiences. It can, you know, come in many different forms that we don't even realize that are coming to us by letting go of things.
Yeah.
But when we have this mentality of just we want possessions, we want everything, that's not really the concept.
Yeah, I can relate with that, because I had like I was saying, I had to do a lot of work because I had like a very deep like attachment to materialistic things. And Yana, yeah, I mean, we worked together with a lot of them, and it was just always so like, oh my God, like just like that weight was lifted off my shoulders when I was able to let it go and release it.
Yeah.
And I think the best part was getting the stuff, like the spiritual stuff, getting like blessed with those spiritual things instead of the materialistic things.
Yeah. And also to add to all of that is when I say let go and get rid of things, I don't mean you take this pen and you say, oh, that's it, I'm done, I don't need it anymore, right? I don't mean like throw it out and not even say thank you for being part of my life. I mean, appreciate and let this item know, because it still holds on to energy. Energy and people in your life. So it's important to be grateful to this specific item, even if it's a shirt with a price tag in your closet. Say thank you. You made me so happy for the time that I tried you on, paid for you, tried you on again, showed you off to my partner or to whoever, and then hung you in my closet. That's all I needed from you.
Mm-hmm.
That was your journey. That was your part of my life. That's it. Thank you. And then put it away nicely.
Yeah, that's something you taught me that I do. Now I'll throw away the trash. Like, and I'm like, well, thank you for, being there, like, and all the things in it, thanks for taking care of me when I need it, but, and it's time to let you go. And I found that to be the most like powerful thing about it, is showing the gratitude to it.
Yeah, it is. It is that attachment. It's that string that when you sever it, or when you don't even sever it, when you just throw it out, that attachment might still be there a little bit. That's why it's important to, be gentle. Like, it's a living. I know some people, oh my God, she's crazy. I know.
Tell me about it.
Right now, oh my God, Yana, don't say this. People will think you're weird. I am weird, so I'm here owning it. Say thank you. Like, it's a living thing. Yeah. It's served a purpose in your life.
I will say, because I was actually going to bring that up, that everything has an essence to it, right? Like, it is a living thing. It may be solid, but it came here, it was made, right? It's material, it's elements, it's all of this. So I will say something spiritual that I've definitely done is they know what they want. So asking it how also it would like to be disposed of, right? Some of, let's say I just went through a breakup. So some of the jewelry that I had received from this person, I asked it, I'm like, what should I do with you? Like, and I slept on it. And it told me to bury it. So I put it back into the earth. I buried it because I just feel that no one else, the attachment that it has and everything, I don't feel first that anyone else would be of use of it. And that too, like, I really wanted to give it back to the earth. Sometimes you need to burn it away. Yeah. Burn it, man. And sometimes it's regifting it to someone. I had a pocket mirror that my ex gave me as well. It was unicorn, of course. And it was something I'd been thinking. So there were 3 items. I'm like, I don't know what to do with them. The mirror appeared out of nowhere on my desk. I don't know how it got there. And I was like, okay, all right, I need to do something with you. And out of the 3 items, it told me to get rid of that mirror. But it was awesome because what I did was exactly what you guys said. I looked into that mirror and talked to myself and was just like, I'm grateful for you being here. Like, thank you. But now I'm closing this chapter. I'm putting this Meagan into this mirror and I'm going to close her off. She gave me a lot and I've loved being her, but this is a new start, a new journey for me. And I'm going to lock her into this, little parallel universe. And then I gave it to my best friend's daughter, and she loved it. She's like, this is my phone. And I'm like, I'm in there, girl. You can talk to me whenever you want. I'm in there. You can open me up and be like, hey, Meagan.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Another thing that popped into my mind, because you were talking about that objects, there's an essence, right? Yours and people around you. And also the people that were part of making it. Mm-hmm. This is what so many of us don't even think about at all. And to me, it's something that I like to do once in a while, where not so much in the house anymore because I already kind of gone through pretty much the whole house. But when I'm out there, like seeing the doors that I walk into any kind of building, the shelves and the stores and stuff like that, and the clothes that's hanging that I might like but decide not to buy. Who made it? Just like picture a story, or tell yourself a story of who actually made that clothes. That it might have been. You can look at the tag of where it was made. Let's say it was made in Philippines. So for me, I like to make a story, especially if it's a clothes that I have. It's nice. It's like it adds essence to it, like you said. It's almost like it becomes more than just clothes,
Yeah.
right? But like, who is this person that made it? Where are they living? How are they living? What is their living situation? What people in their life? Who are they working for? Why are they doing it? Right? What are their dreams? What are their goals? Um, I know it's a little extreme, and I obviously don't do it with everything, but once in a while, it's nice to almost like dream, and at the same time, what if it's my intuition that's telling me the truth behind this particular item?
Mm-hmm.
And then when letting go of things, and especially if I do have a story attached to it as well, and let's say I didn't even wear that outfit or that shirt or that skirt. I don't do dresses or skirts very often, not my thing. Um, but it does make me feel fancy when I do put a skirt on. So it's a really rare occasion. But anyways, letting go of it, being thankful to everything that it brought into you, even and especially that story.
Mm-hmm. I have a question for you guys. Because I want to know if you guys have ever had this, because I have. So let's say like you buy something, either it's a clothes or something, and you bring it into your house. Has it ever told you that it was not for you and you had to like instantly get it out of your house?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, like it energetically like speaks to you and you're like, I don't know about this. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Those are the things that end up still
It's
having price tags on.
Right? And so the universe is speaking to you to let it go, which is crazy, but we have to be in tuned with that. Because there are a lot of things, and maybe again, it's like, oh, it was supposed to be a gift. You weren't supposed to hold on to it, but I can re-gift it to somebody else. And a lot of times when that happens, I'm like, oh yeah, actually, that should go to somebody else. Even right now, this happened yesterday. So obviously where I'm living is with family, so I give them, money when I can. And my dad is helping me pay, like my car had an issue. And I like got the money yesterday and I was like, this money is not meant for me. So like I gave it to them because I'm just like, yeah, something in me is telling me like this money, like thanks for helping me, but like I need to re-gift it to like someone else. Like I can't hold on to that. It's not mine to have.
Mm-hmm. I also met a lady who she had very vivid dreams. She was really just in the beginning of her awakening stages. And she would there was one dream where she was given numbers. And when she woke up, she knew these numbers were not meant to be for her. And she knew who they were meant to be for. Which was her friend. She gave those numbers to her friend, and her friend won a lottery of $2,000, exactly what she really, really, really needed.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
So, I mean, when we sense that these things are not for us, sometimes we have dreams about them. Right. And I know I've had dreams where I knew this dream wasn't for me, it was meant to be for somebody else, and I would share it with them. Right. Especially with my partner. And then of course I would help him to work through what did that mean for him. Because what it meant for me would be different than what it meant for him. But quite often actually it was very similar. So dreams are another possessions that we can hold on to. Like actual dreams that we dream about can be, I know, and I speak for myself, I don't know about you ladies, but for me, there are certain dreams that I feel that string attached to it. And this is not something that I would want to let go or sever the string, because and this has happened before, when something happens in my life, I instantly remember that dream that was kind of like a heads up, this is coming. Right? So that is when those strings that are attached to actual dreams detach themselves without me having to do it. So when it comes to these strings that I keep talking about, strings, there's a lot of them that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't put a number to mine. That's why I didn't necessarily answer
that's
that.
why when
It's
she
a
said
lot.
108, I'm like, that's a very small number, because
Right.
mine would be in like, I want to say 5,000.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know how many, but there's a lot, but I resonate with those strings.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I've chopped a lot. But again, I feel like because of my traveling, I have let a lot of strings go, especially materialist wise. You know, when I was traveling, I literally had a suitcase and a backpack, and that were my possessions. And here in the US, all I had was maybe 2 totes, and one of the totes is more like photo albums, maybe some baby stuff that I really don't want to get rid of. And then the other ones were like blankets and winter clothes, just in case I came back here during wintertime, which thank you, past Meagan, for thinking about that, because that has helped me a million times. When I come back here during winter and I'm like, all I have is summer crap, what am I supposed to do? And then I open this tote and I'm like, good planning, Meagan, good planning. Yeah. So, but it's nice. Like, I've loved being able to literally have everything I possess in my possession and be like, hey, this is it. This is all that I own. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy with these items that I have here. Yeah. So literally my whole entire life is, I can probably fit it into 4 totes. That's it.
See, for me, that's what I would love to have. Lately, and when I say lately, it's been a year and a half at least, maybe a little bit more. I've been kind of like dreaming and wanting to try living on the road with, the kids, my husband, the pets. But I've brought it up to my partner, and no, not happening, right? Because he has a job. What are we going to do for the job? I'm like, dude, you wouldn't have to work if we sold this house, got one of those RVs, and invested.
Just get a bus.
Well, that's what I was saying, a school bus that is actually a lot cheaper on gas than an RV. And you can make a beautiful school bus on the inside. I've seen that. And he's very handy. So I would love that. But then what about winter here in Canada?
You just have to insulate it.
And that's when you drive down to the US and go to hot places.
Well, if the passports happen, I don't think we'll even.
But I'm sure you could like insulate it and everything, and like a lot of people have put actual like stoves, like wood stoves in there to heat up, and you're not even gonna have to use that much to heat up a little tiny, okay, not really tiny, but like obvious, compared to a house.
I've watched a lot of videos because that's something me and Brian want to do eventually, like because traveling with tattoo show, like the tattoo expos, and that's what kind of got me down to like cut those strings on some of those materialistic things, because I would travel and I'd be like, well, this is really all that I desire to have with me, is what's with me right now, so I can let go of all, like a bunch of stuff, and have no, it'd be like, oh, well, that sucks, but whatever, like I can get it again, like it's just an item. But traveling, and when you brought up traveling, Meagan, I was like, yes, that's what taught me, like, okay, this is the stuff that like I can't live without, these are my needs. And yeah, the bus thing, me and Brian want to do that eventually, get like a bus and like, or like make it into like a big, like a camper, I guess, but
and you can make it into like a little studio, like one little part for a studio, because I ran into a lot of tattoo artists while I was traveling, and they just brought their tattoo stuff, like this tattoo I got from an Australian guy who was in Cambodia at the right time that I met him.
Yeah, and the equipment nowadays, like they have battery pack tattoo machines, and Brian has a bunch of those. So we already have it like where we could get up and go and he could tattoo on the road. And that's we've had these discussions, and eventually they will come into works, but right now it's not meant to be, which is okay.
And he's an awesome tattoo artist, so
thank you. Yeah, I know.
He's talented.
His walking
portfolio. I know. I was like, I'm his walking portfolio. I tell people that all the time, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, you are, huh?" They're like, "Oh, that's so cute." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." I don't know what to say sometimes when people say that. I'm just like, I just love him.
I decided this weekend I went to. These are not real. Don't get excited.
I was gonna
I'm like, what?
Like, wait a minute, did you get a bunch of tattoos, or are those the fake tattoos your daughter had?
Like the sticker tattoos, and I decided to put them on because I bought a bunch so I can see like the placing where I like it, how I like it, the tattoo,
That's smart.
right? So I just want to test them out, different things.
Oh, I like them though.
I know, I do like.
What is that one?
That one's awesome.
I really like that. If and if the rose was colored, that would be really cool too.
See, the outside of it is colored because it looks like the triangle is black and white and the outside is colored.
It's like watercolorish.
This one is already kind of like peeling off.
Yes.
That's one. I have one here. Feather and another feather, butterfly, and this is a hummingbird. And then
I like them.
Hand.
Do you like any of them? Would you ever get any one of those?
You gotta put
this one.
Yeah.
But I wanted to have a moon in it, and I love feathers. I really.
And the great thing about tattoos is that you can create how you want. Like this one, this one, it's upside down, but
ooh, I like
it's the world. And this one, he had like 50 different designs, and I literally pulled from like each one of them and was like, "Ooh, I like this from this one and that and this, and oh wait, can I add watercolor as well? Like that's not on any of your designs, but I really like." So you just make it your own, like it's on your body.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how we had to come up with these sleeves, because before we just did random things and we're like, well, how are we going to make them sleeves? And so he just was like, well, let's just do this. So that's why we did a bunch of watercolor like around here, just kind of bring it all together, because it was like, how else?
That is a good way to put it together.
Like same with like this one, it's like we were like, wow, what is this? So that's why I have like the different names for them. Like this is the mushroom like trip, and this is the acid trip, if you want to think about in those terms, because there's like little mushrooms back here, and there's this rabbit biting into a carrot, and the carrot's screaming.
Nice.
It's alive.
And then with acid, I don't know if you've ever done any of the psychedelics, but it's like all the colors flow together, and you just got this like in this moment of like woo, like flowing.
You know, the one person I remember on my acid trip, I saw Albert Einstein come into my trip. I was like, all right, here we go.
He came from far away to visit you. What did he have to say?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of I don't remember them saying anything. I just had a lot of people like cross, and like I was dying of laughter. Like I was in such like a happy, joyful state, and like I was just on the floor cracking up. Like I could not stop laughing, and everyone was like, what is going on? I'm like, just let me be. But then out of nowhere, I was just like, guys, can we all go for a walk? Like I really feel like going for a walk out in nature. So thankfully we had like one sober person to like watch all of us, and he goes, okay, we can go. So we all just walked around the neighborhood, and I was in my own little world the whole entire time.
Yeah. See, I want to try psychedelics. Ayahuasca is the one that I'm the most curious about, but
my cousin did it. Yeah.
Because my fear is that my actually bring up a lot of trauma that I might not even be fully aware of that's there or I have not worked through.
Yeah.
I have a story to put. So I did DMT and I went into it being like, I'm going to meet my anxiety. We're going to heal this anxiety. I had no idea what I was telling myself, but I met it and it was scary. It was the most scariest trip, but I grew so much from it afterwards. Like it opened the door to me seeing I didn't have confidence back then, but then I was able to work through and I got confidence, and it showed me, it showed me myself, and I didn't like who I was back then. And so I was able to heal and like grow. And so, yes, it will bring, if you put your mindset, like, this is what I want to happen, it will happen. But if you go with it being like, oh, this is fun, like, it just, you have fun, like, and that's what I've noticed. Cause I've done acid, DMT, and I did shrooms once, and that was fun. That was a fun experience.
That was not.
But they open your mind and just like show you, like, I think it helped awaken me too, and like really like blossom into the person I am today. It just kind of cut those like insecurities, like by showing them to me, so I could be like, okay, this is where I need to heal and grow from.
Yeah. I like that though. I like how you explained that, because a lot of people do either they go in it with like an already bad mindset, and then guess what? You're gonna have a bad experience if you go in with that bad mindset. But if you have like this, and kind of like having no expectations for it, right? And just allowing it.
But that can be dangerous too, with no expectations, because then you're not aware of what's
going to. I don't, because I didn't have any expectations going in. However, I will say I do feel like I'm already a very spiritual, in tuned with myself and connected with myself. So I do believe that is why I could go into it with no expectations. But I agreed, if you have a lot of demons and everything, I would suggest talking yourself into having a good experience. But because I really want to do that. What is it? Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. It's like intention setting. That's what it is. Because I watched Goop Lab with Gwyneth Paltrow on Netflix. I don't know if it's still available. And there's one of the things that they were talking about ayahuasca, and they did it with a shaman. And just watching it, a lot of stuff came up for me, and that's I'm like, I already was like curious, and I started looking, like learning about it. But then when I watched it, I'm like, oh my god, I'm really curious about it, but I need to make sure that I'm doing it with a professional who knows what they're doing, because when things come up, you need someone who knows what they're doing to help you work through it, right? And that's why setting intention is important. But even when you set intention, your body,
will do what it wants.
Still does things what it wants. And for me, there's two things in particular that I fear I might trip out over, and that is losing the twins. There's still certain experiences that I remember that I have not fully worked through, because even thinking about them, I have a lump in my throat. And then also losing my dog, which I attached to the twins. So to me, those two were the most traumatic experiences that I remember as an adult. And then, as all of us, we will put it aside to deal with later. And I've dealt with a lot of things. And then I felt like I was done. And I know that there were still other things that I haven't fully worked through and dealt with, but I have shelved it for now. And I know that when I work through everything, that I will finally be able to take the ashes of my dog and bring it to the graveyard where the twins are, which I have not been to the graveyard since it happened.
In time, it'll come in time. You got to take it one step at a time. I noticed when I've in the past gone through like a lot of things at once, it was really overwhelming. And like when I'm working through this and working through this and working through this and working through this, and then it just like shuts down and I'm like, okay, I'm done. You know, and so you'll know when you're ready, and you already know that, but you know, it will come. The time will come.
True, but we also need to release it as well. Because I feel like, especially going back to this materialistic world and the Western world, we literally suppress everything and we shove it deep down. And it's like, but we have to transform it into some other form. We have to release it from our body. And as painful as it can be, and as traumatic as some of these experiences have been, again, they happen for a reason. And sometimes if it takes a really long time to figure out that reason, it's okay. But it did happen for a reason. And it was choices we decided to make even before we came on this planet. You know, we made this conscious choice to be like, hey, you need to go through this to be able to go to this. Right. So, and it's really hard. It really is difficult to like say, oh, hey, I'm really happy that like I had a miscarriage. But even for me, like I had to eventually come to that and be like, yeah, actually at 20 years old, I'm really glad I did not have a baby, you know, and all of these other things that I had to stop holding this attachment and this negative space for. And it was like, okay, I'm going to transform it into a happy, even though again it wasn't a happy experience, but I can transform it into one. So anytime I think about it, I'm not bringing myself back to this anger, to this trauma, to this place. I'm now bringing myself to joy. I'm bringing myself to being at peace with what has happened instead of taking my body back to this traumatic event for me.
Yeah, you're changing the narrative. You're like, you know, this happened, but you know, this is the golden nugget from that experience. And that's what I like to look for, is those little golden nuggets. It's like, okay, this happened, but I learned this and this and this from it. Cool.
Yeah, lessons. And every experience that we go through, even slipping and falling on your ass and at your front door step like I did this this winter, that had a lesson for me, and I laughed the whole time. And the lesson for me was, look how much you have grown. Because the old me, I want to say the old me from that video 2 years ago, if that happened to me, I would have been in tears thinking, oh my God, I can't believe how embarrassing. My husband probably saw me fall. He's probably laughing, right? Whereas this time I laughed so hard and I was able to see my growth, and I wouldn't have been able to appreciate the fall. And also on top of I probably would have been in physical pain before, whereas this time there was no pain. It was just joy. I was like, oh my God, I missed this. This is so much fun. I need to slip and fall again. But not actually get hurt, right? But if I haven't worked through things, like when I'm talking about, there's certain things that I haven't worked through with the twins, with losing the twins, it's really just one specific thing. And it's me seeing myself and feeling myself dropping to my knees as they were lowering them into the ground. Like, I have not been able to rewrite that vision because it's so strong. You know what I mean?
You know what you should do? I have a feeling.
At the same time, I like it because it reminds me of value of life for myself, and that they were there. That was their journey. And if it wasn't for that experience, I wouldn't have had my dog. If it wasn't for my dog experience, I wouldn't have my kids now too. I would have had just the two. I wouldn't have what I have. I wouldn't be who I am now if it wasn't. So am I happy that it happened? Yes and no, right? happy that I've had that experience, that I was able to meet them, to see them, and then to bury them, and to know that they're always there, because people that were in our life and they pass on, um, they become our angels, they become our spirit guides. And I haven't given them names. I know names of my spirit guides, my angels, so I can talk to them. And call me crazy, because I know some people might. Chances are, if they're watching past this point, they wouldn't be. But we are able to actually have conversations. I've had experiences where I felt the their presence and their love and assurance on my shoulder, right? Where both of them put one hand each on my shoulder, and I was able to see them, even though right now they would be just 12 years old. But when I saw them, when I felt them, they were adults, right? Um, and the same thing, like with, I've had experiences even after the dog passed away, where, you know, I've had, this is when I was also really awakening and waking up and connecting to myself and to the world. And quite a few times where I've had, the best way to describe it is like communication, right? Where something would beep, or I would see something, or seeing these numbers. For me, when I see 9/11, that's my twin girls talking to me, because they passed away on November 9th. So there's significance around numbers, and our pain and suffering causes us to fear loss. So we then attach ourselves to possessions that make us feel safe and secure, because we are in control of when we are ready to let go of them and lose them.
I like that. Yeah, that's so true. That's a good point. And can I point out, I'm seeing some tremendous growth from in the past when you talked about the girls, instant tears. But I see that you are slowly working through it on your own. And I see a huge difference in how, like, you just talking about it right now. I had to point it out, because I do see like some significant growth just by in the past, how when you talk about it, just instant tears. Now you know, I could tell that there was something going on, but you're able to see the silver lining, that golden nugget from it more, and talk about it. So I wanted to congratulate you for that, because that's huge.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
I will say there are a few things that, so like one, when I had to make a decision to have an abortion with this last like pregnancy, I got really great advice from, I call her my Denmark mom. But, you know, she told me some souls are meant to come here to experience those things. You know, they came here with that intention. Another big thing that has been coming to me, and I've been talking about lately, which I think would definitely help here, is, you know, my sister, when she passed away, she was only 3 years old. I was 5. And she is the one thing I always say I'm so grateful for her passing away, because if it wasn't for her, I would not have had my first spiritual awakening at 5 years old, you know, and it wouldn't have propelled me into being who I am today. And without her sacrificing herself for me to be in this position. So sometimes it is kind of like rewiring and saying, okay, like, you know, and I feel like even that, if you were to have those twins, guess what? You wouldn't have your 2 kids, you know, and maybe it's putting them there at that graveyard with you and standing across from you and being like, you two are my blessings, you know, like, thank you, twins, for leaving me so that I can know who these 2 amazing souls are. And I was meant to be their moms. So thank you for giving that to me. Right. So sometimes it is hard. We have to rewire kind of how we shift and perceive things, because it's not easy. loss is really hard. I've dealt with it a lot, but I've always find that gratefulness and that gratitude and for that lesson that it taught me and allowing it to transform me into being a better version of myself and just appreciating what it brought me.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
I agree. And thank you for the idea of taking my kids to the graveyard and saying, I'm glad that, see, they wouldn't understand the word glad that I lost them, right? But if they,
But I'm grateful,
see, this is
right?
where I'd have to figure out the words, making sure that they don't feel like the only reason why they're here is because um,
Mm-hmm.
they're parting, their siblings parting. Because I always wanted two kids.
Yeah.
I always said,
Again, that might have been the reason. So sometimes, like, in our head, we want to, like, justify it and everything. And sometimes it's just as simple as being like, no, I'm grateful that you passed away so that I could have these two amazing kids. I had a plan in my head to only have two kids. So if I would have had you, I would never have able to met Mila and Ethan. Like, they would not be in my life. And I love my kids. I love who they are.
Mhm.
They're amazing and I wouldn't have had the chance. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I was meant to be these two souls' mothers. And for you too, you were meant to go to another place, and someone else was, supposed to be your mom.
Mhm.
But I still love you. I still appreciate you, and I'm grateful for your impact on my life and even propelling me maybe into a spiritual, path into finding who Yana is. I don't think that that would have happened if you didn't go through that traumatic experience.
Yeah, I
Well,
agree. I got
I agree.
goosebumps right now when you're saying all that. I'm like, oh yeah, wow. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I honestly agree, especially with the part that this is what it kind of came up that we, the doors open up to our spiritual self because we have been conditioned to live a closed life, the materialistic mind and the spiritual mind. So the doors open up to the spiritual mind, to the spiritual world, to awakening, to raising our consciousness, and then helping the world raise their consciousness or its consciousness. And all of that
Mhm.
comes from a place of pain and suffering. There are very few children that have been born and are being born, especially now with everything that's going on. It actually started happening a few years back where um, I I remember somebody telling me that there are quite a few kids that were born in the late 80s and in the 90s that were born with no karma and they're here for a purpose, and that is to be here for when something big happens in the world that they will need to be at the forefront leading people, right, healing, all of that, especially now if you think about it. But
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
interesting how all of us we go through the awakening that is triggered by a traumatic experience
Hmm.
that causes pain, suffering, sadness, anxiety, fear, depression, and a whole bunch of other bad feelings and emotions that that people don't like, but they do serve a huge purpose.
Mhm.
And even being thankful for those feelings and emotions is actually key for overall happiness of life, because if we look at our daily life and say this is bad, I don't want that, this is good, I want that, and we just put things aside that we don't want, we end up having more of the things that we don't want, and then we become angry with the life that we have. or displeased with the life that we have, that we actually created ourselves
Mhm.
by not really taking a moment to appreciate all parts of it, the good and the
Yeah.
bad and the ugly. Because each
And I will say, even when we concentrate on that bad comes to us, right? So even though we're like, oh, I hate that badness, but guess what? You're consumed by it. You're constantly thinking about those bad things. So the universe thinks you're vibrating at that level and saying, oh, actually, you like it. So I'm going to give you more of that negative and bad experience. And instead, we have to transmute that into something else and say, hey, actually, I appreciate the lesson. I have learned it. And I'm ready to go a different route now, okay? Like, I've learned my lesson.
Yeah, I had this really interesting thing pop up for me. So as I mentioned, like I've been working through my, working on my anger and my irritability and my frustration. But I'm also grateful for these emotions, because without having these and to the magnitude that I've had it, because to you guys, I don't think you've ever seen that side of me. I don't really let that side be shown too much. But it's been there, and I'm not proud of that side, but at the same time I am, because without having those things, I wouldn't know what peace and patience and tranquility is that I'm searching, working towards now. And I just had that realization, honestly, when we were talking about that's what I was writing down, because it was like, whoa, like if I didn't experience all the anger and the frustration, like I wouldn't even know that I want to have patience. I want to have the tranquility. I want to have peace. And so it's just, I just had to share that with you guys, because it's
I
just
like that you said that. That really was like, that spoke to me, because even with those like emotions, because like me growing up, I was an angry ass person. Like, I was mean to everyone, okay? And then when I was like, oh, wait, this isn't me. So then I went to this opposite end where it was just like, I was overly nice and, all of this stuff. And it was just like, but you have to bring yourself back to center, because not only can we not appreciate that piece without having the other side, but you have to realize that that is also necessary, right? So if someone's like screaming at me, or being unfair to me or unjust to someone else, guess what? I'm bringing that anger out, but I'm going to do it in a way that I have learned how to control that anger and not let it consume me, but be like, hey, no, this anger is there for a reason, and it's showing me that I need to do something about this, but I've learned how to do it in a positive way. So I think it's finding that balance and taking both sides and appreciating both sides and realizing, hey, we do have good, we do have bad. And I think, like, especially for people like us who are on this spiritual journey, people always think that we don't go through tough times anymore. And it's like, no, I do. I just don't sit there any longer. I don't allow it to consume me, to take over my body, and I move through it quicker. It's not that bad things don't happen. I've just learned how to retwist everything. One, not have a reaction towards it, and being like, oh, wait, this is teaching me something. Let me dive in deep and say, hey, universe, what are you trying to teach me right now? Maybe it's a past lesson. You're seeing if I really have aced this thing, so it's doing that. And again, not having this mentality that's like, oh, when I get to here, I'm never gonna have any issues or any problems. No, you will. You will.
Yeah.
It's
It comes up to be like, hey, like you said, like, did you really learn your lesson, or should you be working on it more? But also, like, I feel like with having the like anger and frustration and like all that, it showed me like, okay, well, I can have those things, like you said, Meagan, in a positive way. Like I can use those to fight and fuel for what I want and what I desire. At the same time, sometimes the ego comes up and expands on that to where I have to be like, hey, there's a balance. Let's cool it. Let's put the brakes on. What are we learning? Like you were saying, yeah, it's like I had this experience. So we had some siding kind of fall off on our house, and in the past, having to call maintenance, I would have, oh my gosh, like I don't want them here. Like I would have been a hot mess, been stressed out the whole day, irritable. And I had those moments. So they were taking a while to come. And in the past, I would have been calling them nonstop, and I did call them a couple times to be like, hey, are you guys coming today? Like, it's just a little concerning because it was like leaning on our power cords. And I'm like, you guys might have some bigger problems if you don't come and fix it, because we might lose some power. And then you guys are going to have to figure it out, which I'm now grateful for maintenance, because if we didn't have maintenance, I would have had to figure it out myself. But I was on to Monday. That's when they finally came to fix it. And I was starting to feel really irritable and frustrated. And Yana posted something that helped me work through it as well, about letting go and releasing. And the moment I was able to release it and be like, okay, they'll come when they're ready. They're probably busy. Yes, it's something important to me, but it's not, it's because my ego is coming out, and it's being like, hey, it's all about me, come do this right now because I need it done. But it taught me to just go with the flow and just to release it and let it go. And as soon as I did that, like 10 minutes later, maintenance came and fixed it. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, okay, cool. So I learned something.
What I've heard both of you ladies explain in different ways, in different stories, is that you have learned how to use your emotions for your benefit and not allow your emotions to use you. Almost like an actor. An actor, you need to cry. On demand, a really good actor will cry because they're able to bring something up that allows them to experience that, because they need authentic emotion. And then on demand, they're done crying and they're in bed with someone, right? Extreme examples, but why not? Right? And then the next time they're running and they're happy and they're joyful, or they fall and they hurt themselves, and again, tears or not, emotions all over the place. But an actor is in control of their emotions, and that's why they're able to use them on demand. And in order to control the emotions, you need to identify it and understand it in its entirety. And this is what both of you, what I'm hearing you guys say, are able to do. Me too, but
yeah, right, yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, because that's something in the past that my emotions always controlled me. It was like, oh, well, this happened. Well, now I'm mad, and I'm going to stay mad the whole day. And now it's like, okay, that happened, but why am I going to ruin this beautiful day just because one little thing happened? Like, come on, let's see the beauty of it all, and let's be grateful for that experience. Because there, like I said before, there's that little gold nugget and everything. I just like that golden nugget thing. Yeah, I always use that. But it's so true.
That is true. It brings up this memory comes, and I remember I was walking in Malaysia with just a girl I'd met traveling, and she like asked me, she's like, how are you so happy all the time? And I was just like, okay, well, first, it is a choice I make. But I was like, okay, how can I explain this to someone? I was like, okay, so you would understand feelings, right? So feelings, you get sad, you get happy, you get angry. Like, all right, so it's like a window. So they come, I see them, I acknowledge them, I say, thank you for coming. Now, goodbye. And I'm like, I just don't let them come and consume me. I allow them to be there. I'm present with them, and I like say hi, but then I say goodbye because again, like those feelings don't affect anyone else but me. But also too, if I internalize them, then I actually am going to be hurting other people, because my anger is going to come and affect other people, and no one else deserves my bad moods except for me, because I'm making the choice to be in a bad mood. No one else is making the choice for me to be angry. I'm making it. So like, what's the saying where it's like, you want to like poison your enemies, but you're drinking the poison, right? Something like that.
Your feelings and emotions, like your anger especially, it's like you're experiencing that anger and frustration towards a person, and you're feeling that as if you're hoping that they would be the ones poisoned while you're poisoning yourself. I know there's
Yeah.
actual
Yeah.
I know, it's something like that.
It's like on the tip of my tongue, but it's I feel it.
this is what came out and it's still not it. Okay.
Maybe whoever's watching, maybe they could put what the quote is down below, and so we can have better clarity. Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, I feel like that really pertains to what we started talking about with like attachment to materialistic things. Is we have an attachment to everything. We have an attachment to our emotions. We have an attachment to circumstances that are happening, to experiences, to traumas, to to everything. We have these strings attached, and then we have a million of them or trillions of them, and our mind can't work the way it needs to work and to run properly. So it's starting to cut all of those strings and getting rid of all of that clutter in our life and in our head.
It's not natural. Like, this is not what nature intended for us to live like. Look at nature out there, all the wildlife, even look at your pets. What are they attached to? If you got rid of their bed, us. Why? It's because we are the source of their survival. But if you leave a dog outside long enough and it learns to fend for itself, guess what? It ain't gonna need you anymore. And the only reason why it would is if to get those pettings. That's it. And nature is not dependent on, sorry, not dependent. It's not they're not attached to anyone, right? To anything. You change their bowl, you give them water in a different place, you change their food, you change their bed or get rid of their bed. They don't experience feelings and emotions like us. To them, happiness is life. And that's the only choice they have. Whereas for us humans, many, many people don't realize, and some might not even agree with this, that happiness is a choice. I know it took me a while to realize, for it to actually sink in, because there's a difference between I understand what it means and actually I understand what that means, and it touched my heart, because this is where the realizations feel like, this is where they come from. When we realize something like that aha moment, it's in the heart. The head just is a translator. So we do have a choice. Choice to feel sad or feel happy, to feel angry or to feel joyful, to have resentment and to let go of resentment and just appreciate you being here and appreciate all of the feelings, all of the emotions, because without them, we really truly would not know what love actually feels like.
I agree.
Able to feel and experience love to its fullest because of all the spectrum of the feelings and emotions. Because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be able to experience it. So that's really makes us all human. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't appreciate it or don't see the value in it for now. One day they will, or they might not, depending on what kind of life and what kind of choices they will make, or choices that are already pre-made for them, because they're running on a subconscious program that they're not aware of. But I'm not sure where that was going, but I'm just going to say, be fearless.
Yeah. Push past those limits. Just do it. Yeah. That's what I like to tell myself. Just do it. And in sometimes some people don't like that because it's like, oh, you're telling me what to do. But for me, like, sometimes I just need to tell myself, just do it. Like, just stop procrastinating and just do it. Push it real good. No, that one's
that's the song that popped into my head when you said that.
Yeah.
And then just do it. All I wanted to do was like do a check mark on my head. Just do it, right? Nike.
Yeah.
And then you can put a check mark after you just do it. Yeah. So I feel like this was a really beautiful, powerful topic. I like the number 333 on my end.
I love that number. Here. It means we're on a great path. Synchronicity. Yes. 333 is one of my favorite numbers.
With 3 unicorns. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's time to wrap it up for the rest of the day so we can do our things. I have my next task pending on my list. I used to focus on the next 10 things that I got to do. Now it's like just one thing. And then after I've done a one thing, what's the next thing that I want to do? One thing at a time. Otherwise, everywhere.
Yeah. After this call, I'm going outside doing some nature time because that's something that I've been doing a lot is going outside doing some nature. And it's been amazing. Like yesterday, I got blessed with some morel mushrooms, and those are like a delicacy. Yeah, and they just have to be growing in my yard, and I wouldn't have found them unless I was outside enjoying nature.
Yeah, send me a picture, and I'm looking at the picture. I'm like, looks like turds in the bag.
They look funny. I know. They look little like brains.
So talking of nature yesterday, I also had a very just serene moment. So there's like this, I told you like forest, I guess, near us. So anyways, there's this trail I really, really love to go down because it's like an actual hill. So you have to like go down, but it goes down to the water. Mind you, like right before the water, there's like this thing you have to get down, but most of the time it's like muddy and like you cannot get down it. And obviously I'm not wearing the right shoes. So anyways, the other day, like it has not been so rainy. And there was another, like someone had kind of carved a different way down, but like you really have to like get on your ass and like slide down. I was like, F this, I'm going to do this. I really want to go to the beach. So I did it. Almost fell a little bit, but that's okay. I caught myself. I laughed at myself as well. And as I got down, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go over this way. I picked up a really cool rock. I did ask it if I could take it home. It said no. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to enjoy you while I have you. So all of a sudden I'm like walking and I hear like this, mind you, I always see like sea lions whenever I go down there because I'm, I sit and I watch the water. All of a sudden I like hear them like, and I'm like, what? And they're like almost right next to me. And like a group of them. And I was like, nope, I'm just going to sit here. So I literally like sat down, got into like a meditative state. And they were like 6 of them just like were sitting there forever and like watching me. Like they kept coming up and like looking at me. And I'm like, you guys are so cool. Like this is such an awesome experience. But it was like so much fun. I sat there for a good 30 minutes and they were there for 30 minutes. And, they'd go down for a little bit and then they'd all pop up and like, watch me and then go back down and then come up like, oh. Anyways, I had to share that because it was a really awesome moment yesterday.
Nature's beautiful.
Yeah. Isn't it? We just take the time to sit and observe and
Yeah, the kid in me is like, oh my God, I want to go and touch one. And
I
then,
did. I was like, can I be the Little Mermaid right now? And you guys can just like come to me right now, please.
or Snow White when she calls all the animals. And then with that child vision of myself, like, oh my God, can I go touch her? I have, my dad grabbing me. No, because I remember when I was young and I often went for walks with like my mom and not my dad. But this time was with my dad, and just walking side by side, my sister, my dad, and me. And then there's a snake that slithers on the path, and I instantly, without hesitation, run to go catch it. And all I remember is being flung back as my dad grabbed the hood, and I'm like, and he's like, "No, you're not going to catch that snake. Why not?" So yeah,
Oh, Yana, the animal.
catcher.
Yeah, I
Animal
get.
whisperer.
Yeah, the animal
Yeah.
whisperer.
I used to catch like all kinds of wildlife, anything wild that I would see. I needed to touch it, and I needed to sit with it, and I needed to bond with it. And then when I felt like they were ready to go, I would just release them. Sometimes they would just kind of sit near me, um, and or on me, depending on what wildlife it was. And then when they're ready to go, they would just go, whether it's slither away or run away or hop away or walk away, whatever it was. Um,
You need
yeah.
to take your non-fear of snakes and give it to me. Snakes are just, they're weird. Like they have no arms or no legs, and they just like.
Hard. You can just pet it all along and the scales. And if you do that,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of snakes.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either.
we used to have a snake. It was my daughter's.
See, but I know there's a reason why I have a fear of that. Maybe I got eaten in a past life. I don't know, something.
Or bitten.
Probably.
Yeah.
I need to conquer that fear.
Well, if you want to, you can. Right?
I know I can. I'm not there yet, though. I'm not there.
Exactly. Same thing here. There's certain things, and they are fears in a way, like experience it from the past. They're fears, right? We're not ready to conquer them all, especially all in one day. Like Bethany, when you were talking about when you work through a lot of things at the same time, it just becomes a lot, and it can actually shut the system down where we can end up in the hospital sick.
Yeah.
Right? One thing at a time, because when we're working through these things, what we're also doing is we're calling parts of our soul back that was lost due to this experience.
Ooh, I like how you said that.
And imagine bringing all of your lost soul pieces all at once. It's like it's like trying to force 100 elephants through a tiny little door.
Yeah.
One elephant at a time. One elephant at a time. And then they need time to actually get in there and readjust and find their place. And then you can allow the next elephant in and the next. But if you try to shove them all at one, right, through a door, through a jar, it ain't gonna happen. Yeah, it can break the whole thing down.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I feel like the sun is calling to me. It keeps getting brighter and brighter outside.
I feel you on that one. It's coming.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go sit outside too. No thanks, because I was gonna go do other things, but I'm gonna sit outside for a little bit, and then
Take some of your work outside, or if you need to do some stuff.
Right,
Journal out there.
Right. Your eye just told me he did his schoolwork all by himself. He's like, I need a good job sticker. That's his report card, a good job sticker.
I like it.
because
That's good.
no.
Right. That's true. That's a good point.
Will one of you send me this recording also, please?
I will.
Thank you. I
Awesome.
will put this on my podcast. I haven't done a Unicorn Chronicles in a while, so I feel like it's due for one.
Yeah, I feel
This was a good topic. Huh?
What?
I think I forgot to send you.
I think so too.
Okay, so I
I
can't
forget which one.
I'm gonna write down 2 podcasts. but I have to see which one it was.
Yeah, let me go back because I feel like it wasn't this last one that I was in, but like the before I was kind of gone for a while. That one.
Check on her YouTube channel. There's well, I guess it's different.
Yeah. No, I can do that.
Yeah, because I know there's a bunch that she put up, but I know there's a few that aren't up quite yet. But yeah, there's. I think the one you're talking about is on the YouTube.
Okay, cool. I will go look.
Might be already. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies. I love our Wednesday calls. I always say that every Wednesday. And each and every one is full of powerful information and also tools, right? We don't just talk about the problem. We also talk about what to do with it.
We're the 3 wise women. The 3 wise unicorns.
Right. Too bad the ears didn't move. Yeah.
I know, right?
It's still saying there. I was like hoping that if I touch it, that the ear would kind of like flicker a little.
Right? Yeah, that would we should make our own filter.
People are listening probably to might be listening to an actual podcast and wishing they can watch the video.
They can go on over. I'll put the link down below so you can go see our lovely faces.
And the horns.
Duh. What you want to see.
That's it. Anyways, maybe next week we'll have a different kind of a filter.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies. I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate all the viewers, everyone watching us. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you like what you see, subscribe. No matter what channel you're on. Meagan, subscribe to Meagan. Mine, subscribe to mine. And when Bethany has hers, subscribe to hers. All the information will be down below for everyone who is on this podcast. And once again, thank you for watching or listening to the whole entire podcast. And as always, I would love to hear your biggest takeaway from it. That golden nugget. And until next time, bye everybody, and bye ladies. Thank you.
Bye. See you next week. Bye.